Now this, President Trump says he is considering a massive attack on Iran. Retired four-star General Jack Keane joins me now. General, is this a negotiating tactic or is it a real threat of real military action?
Yeah, I think we're past negotiations. I mean, clearly the president has two options in front of him. One, the Iranians are reaching out to us and wanting to negotiate, so he could go down that path again. Or, more likely, recognizing the fact that the Iranians are not going to be faithful to their negotiations, and we have clear evidence of that now. You know, we went to a ceasefire on April the 7th. Negotiations began on April the 8th. It took many weeks. We wound up actually with some kind of an agreement. It was referred to as a memorandum of understanding. The only agreement in it was Iran would stop its interference with the Straits of Hormuz and we would remove our blockade. And both presidents signed it, Iranian and American. And within days, Iran refused to stop interfering with the shipping through the Straits and actually fired on some ships that were not obeying them. And President Trump acted forcibly as a result of that. I think the Iranians were expecting to use that as leverage for even more negotiations and more concessions. What they did is they miscalculated once again dealing with President Trump.
Yeah.
He saw it for what it is, a clear violation of an agreement. And we said it on this show time and again. The Iranians lie and cheat. And even if they make a deal, they will not comply. Well, now we actually have the evidence. I don't see the president moving back into negotiations, even though the Iranians want that. What's their motivation? They want to stop what we're doing to them.
And they want to play for time.
That's the reality of it.
General, we've got
exactly.
We've got new satellite images. They show Iran is quickly rebuilding a damaged missile base. Israeli intelligence believes Iran has moved its nuclear material underground. So they're rebuilding the missile base. They're changing where they've got the nuclear material. It seems like the Iranians are proving to be more resilient than we thought.
Yeah, well, listen, this is a major industrial power, Iran, a country of 94 million people, a huge country in itself, a huge labor force, a well-educated population base. It's not surprising that whatever money they got back from the deal, so to speak, and whatever reserves they had while all these negotiations were going on, they were pouring that into recovering of what? The things that matter most to them. Yes, you mentioned a couple of them. One, moving nuclear materials to Pickaxe Mountain, where it's deeply buried and likely beyond the capability of our bombs. Two, resurrecting as many of the ballistic missiles as they possibly can and recovering other weapon systems like drones, etc. And what does that tell you? It tells you how dead serious they are about their goals and where they would be if we stopped action. So yes, the Iranians have capability, and you can see what their priorities are. This regime is no different, even though the players are different, than the previous regimes that have been running Iran for 47 years. They're as diabolical, as radical, tyrannical as they are, and they're completely committed to their goals.
Do you think they're going to go through? The president will go through with this massive attack, and that will be endgame in this war, right?
I think that's the path we're on. I mean, it's obviously his decision. It's likely a near-term decision with his advisors. I think his instincts have always been very good here. Listen, what we're dealing with here. This is the first president in 47 years that has ever said enough is enough. We're going to stop Iran's killing of Americans since 1983. We're going to stop their predatory behavior in the region, and they're seeking domination, and we're going to make certain that they don't have the capability for a nuclear weapon. No one had ever taken them on. Others used the words, but nobody took the action to stop them. Sure. And I believe he knows he's not going to stop them through negotiations. And what does negotiations do? It also gives them a lifeline. I think 5 years from now, people will not remember that we had a temporary rise in oil prices, which will have an impact, and I'm not minimizing the impact on people that live paycheck to paycheck for sure, and people are running businesses that depend on it, and those prices are going to make a difference. But it is temporary. What they will remember if we make a deal and Iran recovers, they'll remember strategic failure, because that's what it'll be like. And Iran will be predatory in nature, will be killing Americans again, will be imposing their will on the region and killing Israelis again as well. That will be what's down the path. And I don't believe President Trump is going to select a path of strategic failure.
Got it. General Keane, always a pleasure. Thank you very much for being with us, General. We appreciate it.
'Cause the flag still stands for freedom, and they can't take that away.